guys are watching live, much appreciated. If you're watching on Tick Games Network, my man. If you're listening on iTunes, Podbean, Google Music, all that good stuff, Tick Network, TickGamesNetwork.com, wherever you're listening to, we certainly appreciate it. Now, I got some stuff on the screen, of course, the panel. It's going to be a little different today. It's going to be a little bit weird. Got some people missing. Google don't like the podcast today. Some folks is missing that way. But we do got some guests that came on, decided to rock with us, which is much, much, much appreciated. So, I am the only mainstream here today, so I'm going to start with the guests. I'm going to start with Miss The Floor Hugger. Please introduce yourself and where the people can find you.
Hey there, guys. I'm The Floor Hugger. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. I'm excited to be here. It's my first podcast in a very long time.
Yeah, and it's not Mr. T, but Mr. T. What's going on, brother?
Hey there, folks. Mr. T here. How you guys doing? You can find me on YouTube. Everybody always laughs when I do that voice. You can find me on YouTube, Mr. T. That's MIZZAH space TEE, and also on Twitter. And thanks for having me on.
Yo, shout out to the video gamer. You guys know Nia, man. She actually recommended Mr. T for the show today, and I was like, let me go check him out. And at first day when I heard that voice, I was like, oh, yeah, this could be one of my new favorite channels. Like, straight dope. Straight dope. Let's go. Halo, you know what? Come
on now.
I'll say it. Halo to the... Because I almost said your name. And I was like, Demi will want me to say his name, but I'm not going to say his name. Nah. So I'm going to say Halo to the King. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? I appreciate you having me on. Let's see. Twitter, at Halo to the King. PlayStation... The Amazing Napkin, Xbox, Halo to the King. You know where to find me.
And last but not least, I met this man a couple years ago at QuakeCon. One of the coolest dudes on the net. So, Lev, what's going on, bro?
What's up, guys? You can find me on Twitter at S0LEB. You can also find the podcast stuff that I do at Second Opinion Pro, and we are now officially part of Cinelinks.com, so make sure to check us out over there for some of the latest and greatest geek news and movie news.
All right. Thank you guys for rocking with us once again. Now, we do got people that will be popping in late. For some reason, Demigod is having issues getting in, so we had a section we want to talk about that was all up to him, but for some reason, he can't get in, so we will try to get that ball rolling. So we're gonna start really quick. Did you guys see the PlayStation Plus games that were announced today? Not bad. It's like 3 months in a row. PS Plus is kind of doing their thing.
What was it? Heavy Rain and Absolver.
In my opinion, that's another good month.
Yeah.
Well, it would probably be better for me if I didn't just get Heavy Rain through the Detroit pre-order. So, but I mean, Absolver. I'll check out Absolver. Though I ain't really into fighting games. I get my ass whooped. So.
Yeah, I'm down for Absolver because it looks like at first when it first launched, I was like, I think I'm gonna pass on it. But it looks like a pretty cool game. It's supposed to be like a melee combat type of online game, so I'm down, bro.
Yeah, I almost bought Absolver, and I was like, I'll wait because it was like what $30 on release. I was like, I'm gonna wait. Yeah. But now is the perfect time, and I just re-upped my PS Plus, so it's the perfect time. If it's trash, I could care less. But it puts the onus on Microsoft to step the hell up because Microsoft's Games Will Go games have been terrible of late.
Yeah, they haven't announced their July yet, have they?
Which is absolutely weird. Shout out to the chat, man. Let's see the Floor Hugger already getting loved. Somebody said Floor Hugger gang. Look at that, Maria. Thanks for rocking with us. Jay, thanks for rocking with us, man. Fastback, my guy. Thank you for rocking with us. Wait a minute. So let me ask y'all a question. Is anybody have Nintendo Online?
No.
Mr. T. Nintendo Online. What were the games that they're doing? I know they're giving like classic games like each month, right? That you can play for the month. Mm-hmm. What were they for this past month? Because I'm actually buying another Switch in the next couple of weeks, so I don't have a Switch to actually know myself.
Well, that service don't happen until September.
Oh, it is September. Because I remember seeing supposed to have like Super Mario 3, which, in my opinion, is the best Mario game ever made. I could be wrong about that.
I agree.
I go back and forth between that and World.
World was dope, but something about 3, man, was just fire. World was dope, but 3 is just a credible game. 2, of course, is absolute trash.
Of course.
It wasn't a real Mario game.
No, it was a filler, bro.
I thought it was an awesome game, though.
Yeah, it was still a good game, but it was like a It was just a title.
Well, it was, you know, they slapped it onto Doki Doki Panic. So
Exactly.
There we go. There we go. And then I have no idea what Amazon is doing next month, but I think the Twitch Prime is actually a pretty good deal. For the main reason why, because I already have Amazon. I love that free 2-day shipping. And then the games you get from Twitch Prime is actually free. So I think out of all the deals, I think Twitch Prime is actually the best deal going right now. That's just me.
Oh, yeah.
That's just me. So let's get to these topics. And I'm going to start with one that's kind of been beat over the head over and over again by most podcasts. But since we are a bi-weekly show, we ain't talked about it yet. So I want to get it going. So Xbox and Nintendo has decided to come together, pull out their wee-wees, and smack Sony across the face.
Pause.
That's an image I didn't need in my head. Thank you.
that's a visual.
Smack Sony in the face and, hey, you might be the market leader, but we're going to do something that you refuse to do, and we're going to get goodwill on our side and give you really the first bad PR Sony's had this gen. I think this is the first time this generation where, I know there's some people that's going to defend it left and right, but this is the first time this generation where people are like, really, Sony? Like, what are you doing? So I want to go around the panel and get everybody's thoughts on this crossplay situation. Do you think Sony will bite? And what do you guys think about Microsoft and Nintendo teaming up with this Survive together?
If I could start, I would probably say that, well, you know, as of today, there's been a little bit of news kind of posted out that Sony is looking into the crossplay problem. That's what a representative of Sony has came out to say, saying, well, we're going to kind of look into our options and look what we can do. Because now it's not just the fact of the matter that people have invested this time and money into a console, but the fact that, you know, and this is a small thing, but the fact that when Fortnite went to the Switch, the day it went to the Switch, there were people at E3 right after the press conference that were walking around pissed off because they couldn't connect their account to their Nintendo Switch because of the PlayStation. You know, so that automatically is a bad thing. So whenever Nintendo and Microsoft come together and they make this cross-platform ad, you have to think about the potential that something like this could do to not just Sony, but it could do for Microsoft in general. You know, if they get a good enough relationship with Nintendo, it could build to a really big thing. So.
Oh, yeah, ain't got to be formal. I was like,
I thought you were just going to call people out. Like, all right, well, what do you think of it?
I'm waiting for my name to be called. I ain't trying to be muted.
I thought I lost connection for a second. I was like, oh, shit.
It's that there. I was like, I looked at my computer. I was like, damn, something.
No, we are formally informed.
Either that or everybody was really lost in his thoughts. Where like, oh yeah, she's speaking some real truth right now.
Halo, I mean, I know you're kind of like, I'm guessing, are you a little bit more of a Microsoft dude? Are you like kind of a mix between both?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really. I know a lot of people say like the neutral, but I wouldn't consider myself neutral. But I mean, realistically, I just go where the games go. PlayStation's got the games I want, then I'm PlayStation. Xbox has got the games I want, then I'm Xbox. So,
respect.
I mean, it is what it is. It's, you know, I can't say I'm like a PlayStation guy or an Xbox guy. I'm pretty much like an everything guy except Nintendo. I'm all set on that. But.
Well, like, Mr. T ain't finna take that blast from me, sir.
Look, man. Nintendo does what they do, and they do it well. I can't hate on them. It's just not for me.
Well, like an addition question to what Fame said. I ain't trying to like take over the podcast or nothing.
Good?
You know, like, do y'all think like with something like this is what we talked about on Second Opinion is like, you know, the possibilities with this. This could be just, you know, hey, we can do cross-platform, or, you know, we could see something blossom even bigger of Microsoft.
That was my sub-question.
We can have our games on your system, or maybe even have your games on our system, and that would be dire for Sony. So, I mean, what do y'all think about that?
I mean, I got a big opinion on the thing, so let me just go ahead and get this out of the way.
Feel it.
Yeah. So, as far as the cross-play thing, I think a lot of, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, Microsoft did it last, because, I mean, it's true. Microsoft did have their part, and they did, you know, relative to the same thing last gen, and obviously this is a new gen. I think the biggest issue that I see with it is not just the crossplay, like they're not taking a part in the crossplay with the rest. I think the biggest issue is Sony is like punishing people for playing Fortnite on their platform and then wanting to play it with others by taking their account and locking it. So that's, you know, people could have put a lot of money into their skins and they want to play on another platform or something like that, and Sony's just like holding their account hostage. I think that's really scumbag move.
Problem.
But I'm not gonna say that this whole crossplay thing, I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is a huge outrage, because realistically, a lot of people that are pissed, I'm not gonna say everybody because a lot of people do play it, but a lot of people that are pissed off don't play Fortnite, they don't play Rocket League, they don't play any of these crossplay games. They're just gonna use it as some type of ammo just to say, "Ha, I told you so." You're not for the gamer. You know what I mean? So they're using it as, you know, just, you know, the little console war ammo and stuff like that, and they're thinking, well, I guess it's time for me to get rid of my PlayStation since, you know, Sony's being anti-consumer. But when that first exclusive, when that Spider-Man dropped, it's, oh man, I love PlayStation. Now I remember why. I love the games. Let's be honest now, you're not getting rid of your PlayStation, or if you get rid of it, you can pick it up again in September.
That's true.
So, but I mean, I see where people are pissed off about, and I can't really say that I'm all against Sony for the. I'm against them for locking people's accounts because you're literally punishing people for it. But Sony's still going to be Sony at the end of the day. They're still going to be the market leader. They're still going to do what they do. You know, that's a business. I mean, business isn't supposed to be pretty. These companies ain't, you know, our friends ain't. You know, the number one thing they care about the most is the money. That's Nintendo. That's Microsoft. That's Sony. That's how things are always going to be. But now, if they had like Battlefield on crossplay, then Sony, maybe. You know, you're looking. You know, I'm gonna give you the side eye because I love me some Battlefield. But until then, I can't really say I'm in open arms about it, willing to throw my PlayStation out the window, because that's not gonna happen.
Wouldn't this be part of like an outrage culture where, you know, you said it yourself, Halo? Most of these people don't play these games and they're up in arms. So it's like people just getting angry for angry's sake. Like, you don't play this. Why does it matter? Like, I play on PC a lot and I'm like, I don't really care. I play these games, but it's not the end of the world if I have to start over. It's just a new chance to stomp people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I think if anything, I think some of the people that are getting mad are probably the people that have spent the amount of money on it. And, you know, it's a free-to-play game, so for me particularly, I don't care. But, you know, I know this is crazy, but there's a friend of mine, his son here in town, the job that he has, he spends a good chunk of his money on his cell phone bill, but the rest of his money he spends all on Fortnite. So I think probably in just the last month, from what he had told me, his son has spent like $300, $400 on Fortnite.
Jeez,
so,
man.
Yeah. So all he's been doing is buying V coins left and right. So if that was my son and his account got locked for something like that, first off, I would be pissed off that he spent that much money on that game. But secondly, I would be pissed off as well of stating that, you know, it's ridiculous to put this lock system on there. You know, cross-platform is the way to go. We all know that eventually we want that type of aspect. If it's a third-party game, let's do cross-platform. You know, it's not hurting anything. If anything, it's going to help you sell systems and sell games as well. So.
Yeah.
That'd be like if League of Legends went to a console, but you couldn't transfer your account. I know people who have spent thousands of dollars in that game.
Yeah.
And I've spent a couple hundred myself, and it's just like, I would be upset. So I understand that point of view, but it's just like, is it really the end of the world? I mean, eventually it'll get resolved.
It'll get resolved.
Outrage.
Slightly different perspective. I think it was Halo the King that you were talking about, how it was it's not cool because it's locking the account. And that was my biggest issue. Like, you know, if Sony wants to take their ball and play in their own yard, like, and that's up to them. Like, I can't hold it too much against them, but I'm gonna give a different perspective because, along with many of my other jobs, I just started teaching about 5 months ago, elementary. I'm a specialist teacher, and to my surprise, when I went to school, a lot of the kids are Xbox kids, and I was really surprised by that because I always expected. I know the numbers. I know Sony is way out in front, but all these kids are like, "Oh, you gotta add me on Xbox." I'm like, "Wow, I was surprised to hear that. And a lot of these kids, I mean, that's all they talk about: Fortnite, 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 Fortnite. That's all they play. They got me playing. Like I started an account on my Xbox. I cared nothing for Fortnite before that because they're like, oh, you got to play with this. So they added me and whatnot. But I think Microsoft is playing the long game, and I think that's a smart move. And I feel like Sony is, they're the leader right now, but that may not be the case next gen. And I think Microsoft is by partnering up with Nintendo the way they are, they're trying to ingratiate Nintendo fans, and a lot of them are younger, to maybe purchase that Xbox or next generation. Remember, Xbox and Nintendo play together, so that's I think that's a smart business move for them. I'm not sure it's a smart business move for Sony, because it's not going to really hurt them to allow crossplay unless it's just some kind of technical thing they just can't do.
Well, I remember them saying it's about money. Like, they don't want people, they want them buying V-Bucks and buying skins on Sony because it's a money thing. Sony wants the money from all the DLC and stuff that's purchased.
Right. Okay. Well, if it's solely about money, and I understand the business move for that, but I'm saying that's a short-term thing. That's a short-sighted thing. The long game, it's where if you want to be in this, Sony's been, obviously they've been around for a long time, but I think Microsoft is trying to make moves because they're trying to expand their audience, especially this generation, because of what happened in the beginning, how they came out the gates slipping. And I think they're looking for the long run. And like I said, I was surprised by how many kids are Xbox One kids in my school. Like, it's not the biggest sample size, but it was really surprising to me. So I think Microsoft is pretty happy about what they're doing, and it's going to play well for them, not only the end of this generation, but next generation. Because this generation is almost over for Microsoft and Sony. So I think Microsoft is looking ahead.
I see some people were saying in the chat that Sony's working on a solution, and someone tweeted me a thing about it was an image about Sony saying they don't. Let me read this to you guys. Apparently, it's from an Epic thread.
Oh, someone's headset's messing up.
Somebody's mic is messing up like crazy.
I think that might be UT.
Yeah, it's messing
up. Morse code.
Do you need help?
Google does not like my MacBook. I don't know.
So apparently, something about if you unlink. Somebody, Sheep said in the chat, if you unlink a console account from your Epic account, all info gets erased.
Oh, no.
So if that's the case, I mean, you still
Sony shutting shit down.
You still gonna harp on Epic player, but at the same time,
you belong to us now.
At the same time, they still won't. They're not allowing crossplay, and I do think it's just the way games are going forward. I don't think it's gonna hurt these companies in the long run. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna make money off the DLC, and plus, two things. I was told by a certain community that Sony, since they're the market lead, they're not going to be in. The Sony don't care. So now I'm hearing that Sony going to change the policy. That's weird.
Sony really
I thought Sony was the market lead, didn't have to do what nobody told them to do, but they finna change the policy?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I think, I think it's the fact that mainstream gaming news and whatnot has started to really hit them over the head with it. And they don't need this. They don't want this bad press. So I think that's the main reason. And because like you said, it's about money, and this is something that could potentially affect their money, having that bad look. So
I agree with you.
If you're unlinking from an Epic account and you're losing your stuff, that's crappy on Epic, right? Epic is 100%.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But at the same time, why do I have to unlink my PS4 account? Why can't I just log into it on PS4 and also log into it on Switch when I'm on the go?
Why would Epic allow that?
Because I don't know if that's really true or not, because I've unlinked my Epic account from my PlayStation before, and I didn't lose anything.
Okay, so it's just I think it's just
because I had problems actually connecting my Twitch or my Amazon Prime account to my Twitch account so I can get some of the free loot that was available through that, and I had to do go through this rigmarole of trying to get things fixed and whatever else. And when I finally got it fixed, I ended up having to unlink my account 2 or 3 times, but I didn't ever see anything like that. But I still have to agree that if it is happening to people, it's just a trashy thing. But just like what Floor Hugger said too, I really don't. I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it's like the biggest thing out there. And if anything, I mean, I think it's something. I think it's a subject that is making Sony kind of look at cross-platform play and say, okay, well, maybe we need to just get on the ball. But at the same time, I think a lot of people are just kind of blowing it out of proportion.
I do think the biggest thing that's coming out of this, because as we all know, Microsoft and Nintendo have always been cool. Like, at one point, Microsoft was tried to buy out Nintendo. They've always had a civil relationship. They never really butt heads to go at it, right? Yeah. And so with this, I think this is an opportunity for. I know people are saying that these companies. People always point to people being desperate, right? It's not being desperate. It's just them, making smart moves. I think this will lead to a big relationship between Microsoft and Nintendo. We're already hearing that the rumors of Crash may possibly be, a playable character in not Crash, Banjo being a playable character in the next Smash game. Yeah. And a lot of people want another 007 game, which Phil said we can't do because of licensing. I think some of those licensing belong to Nintendo. I think so you put on there earlier. What type of stuff could we possibly see if they continue to stretch the limits of this relationship? Could we see them come together? All right, guys, we're releasing a 007 game exclusive to Nintendo and Xbox. I think that would be huge.
See, that would be huge. I can't even lie.
It would be super huge. But I think, I think in realistic standards, I think we can all agree that we're not going to see something like Mario or Zelda or something like that come on the Xbox because that's like Nintendo's baby.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't think it'll go that far.
We ain't gonna never see no Halo on the Switch. That's for sure.
No, I could totally see something like, like one of the biggest games that does, these extra characters and whatever is Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur 6 is coming out. I could totally see, Soul Calibur launching later on in 2019 for the Switch, and then having like playable characters and whatever else, of maybe even having a a Microsoft character on there or whatever else. I think that's the type of stuff we're going to see, but I could also see them launching a title that they actually worked together on. But I think that's going to be something that we're going to see in 2019 at E3, because I'm telling you guys, the PS5 or whatever they're going to call it, it's going to be a showcase next year. Because I'm
going to have Reggie and Philip on the stage together holding hands.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, they're like, we stand together. I'm like, oh my god, bro, they're about to take down Sony.
That reminds me of that. What was it? That Minecraft thing? It's like survive together, and it had like the Nintendo and Xbox thing side by side, and then I guess somebody made one for Sony, and it's just dominate alone.
I saw another one for Sony, and it just said no. I was like, no.
If they can do it right, I think this would be great, because now that you guys are talking about the games, it's like, I would love to see Bayonetta on the Xbox, because I got locked out of that shit. And I'm just like, oh my god.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that would be good.
Microsoft could have made that happen, but they didn't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
And the thing about Microsoft, they want people to log into Xbox Live anywhere they can.
Exactly.
And then we know they're working on a streaming service. Don't be shocked if you guys, for two things I've said for a while now. When I heard about them making Gears games or Gears RTS, I went on Twitter. I said, Gears RTS, that thing's going to be exclusive to PC. People didn't listen, then it happened. Then I said, don't be shocked to see Gears pop on the Switch. I said, do not be shocked to see that thing on the Switch, because it's a mobile platform game, and Switch is a mobile platform. Log into Xbox Live, play it. And then we also know that Microsoft's working on a streaming service. Sony will never, ever allow you to log into Xbox Live from their platform. But Nintendo, on the other hand, already proved with Minecraft, that's fine with us. Log into Xbox Live. We don't care. As long as you're playing it on the Switch, Nintendo doesn't care. So when this streaming service comes out for Microsoft, don't be shocked to be able to stream games to your Switch, Xbox games to your Switch.
They said the reason Sony doesn't want to do crossplay because if they have one of the maintenance things pop up, the whole population is going to drop off.
Oh man,
that's disrespectful.
Hey, well, don't forget too. I mean, I know a lot of people are trying not to use it because some of the things that they've been doing have kind of been breaking their system. But with the Switch, there's the SX OS, that operating system that does like home brewing and all that other stuff. So there's a possibility that if somebody does that on their Switch and Xbox comes out with a streaming service, and they can just kind of do a little workaround and play some Xbox games on their Switch if they don't do an official app. But you know, with the Switch, there's been so many hacks on the Switch since its launch, especially with it being a mobile platform, and I could see something like that happening for sure. So,
like I just see it coming. I don't know how many times Phil Spencer can tell us that they want you to play your games anywhere. Like, you can only say it so many times, so you have to realize he literally means
anywhere.
Like, he's not just talking PC. And with this relationship with Nintendo, I don't see nobody getting mad but the hardcore Xbox community.
And Phil's been blowing like kisses toward Nintendo for quite some time. Like, this is nothing new.
Senpai noticed me.
Like, I'm all for it because every year I get, I'm an old school Nintendo fan. Every year I get geeked up and hyped up for Microsoft's conference, hoping I'm going to see some rare IPs, and it pretty much never happens. Now, they did announce Battletoads, but Battletoads was never like an IP I cared all that much for. I had fun with it back in the day.
With no online co-op too, that's what blows my mind.
That's BS. Just being couch co-op
makes no sense.
I need some Banjo. I need some Perfect Dark. I need some Jet Force Gemini. That's
oh my god, Perfect Dark, yes.
That's the kind of love I'm looking for. So
that's why, you know what? I can see a game, like, I know it's been out for a long time, but I don't see why Microsoft would say, okay, rare replay, let's launch it on a Switch.
Yeah, Perfect Dark Zero, or like not Perfect Dark Zero, but like Perfect Dark, the kind of the, and it wasn't a remaster, it was like an up-res from the 64 one. Like, if they had a setup where, you know, we could cross-play online multiplayer 60 frames with Perfect, that would be insane to me. Like, I would love that.
Yeah.
So that's something they can do. There's no licensing issue with that at all. Like 007, yeah, somebody else has the license to James Bond.
I want to say the actual name is like the game itself, like the name of it. I know Activision did have it for a while, but I don't believe Activision has it.
They don't have it anymore. No.
I think when it comes to licensing, it comes to the name, the character model. You have to use like Daniel Craig's face instead, like the music. That's where it's tied up. And I think between Microsoft and Sony owning different licenses, I don't see why they couldn't come together and find out whatever music license they may need.
Well, the music wouldn't be any problem because if you play 007, they have a remixed main Bond thing, and everything else is all original. So that wouldn't be a problem. But you're right about like characters. Like you couldn't have what's his name from GoldenEye? What's his name?
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. You can't have Pierce Brosnan because he got to sign off on that because he's like, hey.
He won his money, yeah.
Right, so
it'd be easier to do Daniel Craig, something like that, who made this.
Yeah, Daniel Craig would be easier.
More willing, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely hope to see more from this. It's people gonna call it being desperate, but I think at the end of the day, man, we finna win, yo.
Yeah. I don't think it's desperate. I don't think it's desperation. I mean, Microsoft ain't hungry. Nintendo ain't hungry. I mean, the Switch is at 20 million in like a little over a year, so everybody's doing fine. They're just trying, like I said, they're playing the long game. They're like, well, okay, we're doing fine. Let's do stupendous. Let's do crazy.
Yeah, like you said, everyone's doing fine, but then like we see it as like, okay, everyone's doing fine, but then you look at Sony, it's like, God damn, are they really doing fine?
Well, they got a bigger install base, but
yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what people are doing. They're like they're not looking at it like, okay, everyone's doing better than what they were doing. Yeah. They're seeing it as, well, Sony's so ahead of everyone else that they think that they're looking down on everyone else's numbers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying people just looking at install bases, not revenue. The revenue and install base ain't the same thing, especially during PS1 and PS2 era. Like, obviously, Sony killed everybody as far as install base, but from what I remember seeing, Microsoft did pretty well. Nintendo killed. It probably had a lot more to do with the Game Boy Advance and whatnot. And, the handhelds back then, but revenue-wise, they were pretty close. So install base definitely matters, especially these days. Like you gotta have, you have 60, 70 million, 80 million people, and your install. I mean, obviously you're making money as long as your console doesn't cost more than what you're selling it for. Like that was the problem with Sony; they were selling at a loss all the time. They got it right this time, and that's what I'm saying with them being like, they can't be arrogant. Like, because they got arrogant with the PS3, and they got
Sony is very arrogant.
And that's whoever
the market leader is arrogant.
Nintendo, they got arrogant after the Wii. It was like, we can just throw a tablet out there.
Microsoft got arrogant after 360.
Like, oh man, god dang.
After 360, Microsoft got arrogant as hell.
Microsoft got arrogant too.
If you want to play a console that does this, and this, go back and play 360. I'm like,
right.
Yeah, you know what's crazy though is I think we all saw them do that big switcheroo. You know, like in PS3, Xbox 360, Microsoft was whooping Sony's ass, and then they just switched, bro. Like PS4 was like, hey, bro, it's my turn.
They came in too arrogant. It's like, you're going to use this Kinect that barely works. We're going to make you buy that.
Bro, we saw it at E3 too. You know, with the Microsoft press conference, Phil Spencer came out and he was like, the Xbox will launch at $499. And bro, it was so quiet, bro. It was like chirps. And then that Sony conference, man, it was lit, dude. There was $399.
I still believe Sony's smart. Like
I think I know what you're gonna say, bro.
They're smart. I still believe that camera was gonna be a part of the console because only because of the controller.
I need cold hard facts before y'all spouting this, man. I need facts. I need pictures.
I'm telling you because of the controller. And the light on the controller. Yeah. That controller doesn't need that light. And
that shit still has no use to this day.
That's what the light is for. It's
that
for
light
that
is pointless, dude. I'm sorry. He's like, well, you can tell who's player blue and who's player red, and I'm like, bro, shut up,
bro. And like, if you notice,
my battery.
They still program it into all these games to where.
Like if you're low on health, it's red and shit like that. The only thing I will say is,
who can see that?
I mean, you can see it. You can see it on the wall. Like if you're playing a dark ass room, your whole room light up when you're dead.
You're losing the game.
Like, damn, I feel real bad now.
That's
like, damn,
that shit hurts your feelings, man. I saw that damn light a lot in God of War. Let me tell you, Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Them fucking Valkyries made me see that light more than anything.
Yeah,
it should have came with an option to turn it off. Because the DS4, that share button, that's why the Switch has a share button. The share button was an amazing thing, but that light was pointless.
Yeah. That's why I like about using the PS4 controller on PC. There's a little root around this app that I downloaded on my PC. Whenever I play PC games, I always use my DualShock 4. I can turn the freaking light off.
The only thing that light is good for is killing your damn battery.
Exactly.
That's all it's good for.
I will say, man, that the touchpad and the speaker are dope. I really do. That touchpad for like map navigation and stuff like that, you just tap it and like your map will come up. And I think the speaker is pretty cool too.
The speaker is always great. When you don't know what's going to be in a game, and you're like, "Oh, what is that?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So cool.
You sit there, like you listen to an audio log, and it starts playing through your controller. Oh, what the fuck is that? Oh, damn, that's my controller.
It's so cool. I wonder where they got that idea from. That was cool.
Yeah, where did the idea come from, Mr. T?
Where did they
Rise of Tomb Raider?
Little old Wii. That's what they got it.
They stole it from the Wii.
I will say, like, you call me a bot. I still prefer the Xbox controller, mainly because of asymmetric thumbsticks.
Yeah. Well, you can get a scuff gaming controller now for like $3,000.
Yeah, money for no damn scuff controller.
Come on.
Look, you know what? Hey, Fame, if anybody ever calls you a bot, tell them you were in the trenches playing Lawbreakers with me. You ain't no damn bot.
Wow.
And I was trash at that game, but I was playing it.
Yeah, I missed that game. I ain't gonna lie. That game was fun.
I'm not gonna lie. I wish they would release it like on Game Pass for Xbox. It would bring life back to it.
It looked like a good game. The problem is they should have locked Cliffy B in a closet somewhere and had somebody else do the marketing.
Apparently it's free to play.
I think it was just the whole way he acted towards Xbox, but I also think one of the big issues is in this day and age, people got games like Call of Duty and stuff like that, and a lot of shooters are just getting easier. That game, I will say, my main thing is FPS. I love FPS games. That game has a very high skill gap. Yeah. So if you're bad at that game, you will stay bad at that game until you adapt and get better. So that I like that. I like the game that's going to challenge.
Wasn't it supposed to be free to play at first, and then they changed it?
Yeah. I think during the development, it was supposed to. They said there's a chance it could be free to play. But I guess he decided.
Some of the balancing people are gonna off of that game, like that chick, the melee chick. What was her name? But you could enter a whole clip and she would still come up and slice you with one hit and you'd be done. Like the balancing was off in that game, dude.
Well, you know, too. I mean, I was one of the ones that bought into that game. Like, I had 2 friends working for the company, and I honestly, I was like, man, I'm really actually excited for this game. The first couple of weeks playing it, I was like, all right, well, you know, it's a little bit more kind of skilled than what, you know, Overwatch is or whatever else. And then afterwards, I just got bored with it, bro. I mean, it was literally one of those games. Like, I played the first couple of times. I was like, hey, this is pretty intense. And then afterwards, I was like, all right.
It wasn't just you. There was only like 20 people online.
Personally, 2 things killed that game. One, for me, the main one was Cliffy B's attitude. It's like, come on, don't talk shit about other games. And the other was the skill gap. Because the skill gap, I did play it and it was like, I'm trash.
That game will kick your ass.
Some of the other faults would have worked, but I think Clippy B was just too damn aggressive. He was just too.
Yeah, he said, I feel so bad for him because I like Cliffy B. I think he's arrogant sometimes, but I mean, realistically, you know, who isn't arrogant? You know, he generally is a nice guy. Like, I follow him on Twitter. He's a really cool dude. But man, when I feel so bad. All the memes people said, he goes, "I'm looking to get out to make the next $1 billion franchise," and they showed that. Oh no, Cliffy, no.
Some of the games he showed off. Some of the games he showed off when before he like left Twitter for a while. Looked
concepts. Oh man.
Oh yeah, I saw some.
He's not done. He's not. I don't care what anybody says. He's been done for about 3 different times. He's not done. He's taking a break. He's reeling back.
That's right.
Well, if he comes back, he needs to stay in the lab and hire a PR person because he's
That's the thing. Like, you know, Cliffy is. I think he's a good guy, man. I mean, there was a couple of times we talked to him while at the Gearbox events, and he was a fantastic.
No, he's a cool dude.
But at the same time, I agree with you all that he got totally worked up, bro. Like, he got that mentality of like. You know, he comes from making Gears of War and being that famous dude from that genre, and then when he creates his own company, he's got that big head syndrome of like, hey, listen, I know what we got. He probably saw some pro players or even people on the dev team that were really good at the game and thinking this is going to be badass. Yeah. But then they released 2. They released
said, this shit finna be a breeze.
What was the game they released right before the studio shut down? What was it called?
Oh God!
Radical Heights.
Let me. I knew shit was really bad there when on the same day he announced that Lawbreakers is pretty much it's done. They announced that a new game that they've been working on for the past 6 months. I was like, wait a minute. So you're shutting a game down on the same day you're opening up a new game? Oh my God.
That's gonna work
buggy
out well.
Mess. That game was
and I think the way he tried to promote it after
while we're still waiting for Crackdown.
Yeah.
What's going on, what were you saying, Florga?
I think the way he started to promote the game after it started to decline was very reminiscent of, oh shit, what's that game? It came out right before Overwatch from 2K or Gearbox.
My God.
No.
Battleborn?
Battleborn.
Yeah, it started to come off very like Battleborn-y and just like, oh, please don't do this, Cliff. Please. Oh God, you got it.
Oh my God. These guys do not learn from history. It seems they keep repeating history over and over.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I was really fast. The problem is people rather take the chance with a genre that's popping than make something new. Like, oh snap, Battle Royale is popping, so everybody let's make a Battle Royale game. Oh, hero shooters are popping.
I'm so done. I'm so tired of these fucking Battle Royale games, man. This shit has got to go.
Halo, be quiet, because if Halo made a Battle Royale game, you'd be the first person in the game, bro. So quit.
Look, man, I would try it, and I'd be like, man, I'm not gonna lie. If there was like 100 ODSTs dropping in, you goddamn right I'd be on that shit day one. I love VR games. This is great.
Would get on that shit, but he would private all his stuff so you can't see him playing it.
Damn right, I'm locking up all the achievements.
Well, I was gonna say, you know, I remember when Battleborn was coming out. Like, I was still working at GameStop at the time, and they were like, bro, we were getting email after email. They were like, you know, promote this game, talk about this game. If you pre-order it, you get this little mushroom dude. I'm like, come on, bro, this game is gonna be trash. Like, I felt bad because I even told somebody at the counter, he's like, hey man, I want to pre-order Battleborn. I'm like, listen, bro,
please don't.
Listen, Gearbox does some really good work, but this is not the game for you, bro.
Don't do it.
I commend Gearbox for trying new things, but look, man, you've only made one good franchise. Stick to that damn franchise for now until you figure out what your next thing is.
Don't give them that idea, otherwise we're gonna see some Borderlands Royale, and I'm not ready for that shit.
Oh God!
I'm not ready for Battle Royale.
Let's see. They tried Duke Nukem. They fucked Duke Nukem up, and I'm still salty about that.
Everybody.
Colonial Marines. That game was ass.
Don't talk about that game.
Well, that game did not exist. It's one of your judgment. It didn't happen.
I got something big to say about that.
Mass Effect Andromeda didn't happen.
I know a lot. Some of us are from Texas, correct? Am I the only one from Texas in here right now?
I live in Texas currently. So.
Okay. So,
no. Texas.
No. So, like me, I'm a big Texas game company guy. Like I have a good relationship with id Software. I had a good relationship with Gearbox. I was at the first Gearbox community event. We showed up at 4 o'clock in the morning. We helped them set up the event because they had a big ass party the previous night. Didn't have people show up. I mean, it was an amazing event. So like I was in hype mode, dude. Like we got to carry Duke's chair. We got to do all this other stuff. We got staff badges. I mean, it was an amazing event. I sat down and they were like, we're going to show you guys first ever gameplay of Aliens Colonial Marines. And I was like, awesome. They showed it and everybody in the room was tripping. I was like, this is amazing. And then the game launched and it was something completely different.
And it launched.
That's usually the formula of games nowadays. Oh, it looks great. Game comes out. This game is ass.
Bro, I remember at the party having one of the devs mention to me, because I remember at that time I had a friend of mine tell me, listen, bro, if you go to this party, don't drink too much. I said, why? He said, because you're going to have somebody tell you some type of secret or whatever. Because it was a hit party. I ain't going to lie. There was like 4 bars inside of the club and DJ Jazzy Jeff was playing at the same time. It was like, it was all over the place. So I walked up to this guy, was talking to him. He put his arm around me and I was like, what's up with Duke, man? He was like, to be honest with you, man, we just released it as is. We did a little bit of updates. I swear to God, bro, to this day, I hold my hand up. I swear to God, he said, we released it as is. It was 20 years in development. And the development was pretty much the last 5 years of just polishing the game. And I was like,
a turd.
Did they mention the Wii U version? Because they had Nintendo fans geeked up about, oh man, yeah, you're gonna be able to use the gamepad for the little, what was it, the little what was that thing called, the locator,
almost spit my water out when you said that. I was like, what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, the thing. Come on, guys.
Something with the when the aliens were like, they see him on the little radar.
Oh
thing.
yeah,
the motion detector. Yeah.
They were talking like, oh yeah, the Wii version is the version that's like got us really getting all these ideas. I'm like, these dudes they didn't even wrote one line of code for the Wii U version. It was such vaporware. And I remember being so pissed off about that because I love Aliens.
I am with all y'all on that. Like, I am ride or die for some companies like BioWare. They're from my hometown. I know the guys. Ride or die. Dragon Age, love it. Mass Effect, love it. Not going to talk about Mass Effect Andromeda because I'm still salty as shit about that.
Please don't.
But it's just like some of these companies, you look at them, you're like, what the hell were y'all doing?
They just blamed.
What's really wrong with y'all?
They just blamed Mass Effect Andromeda's woes on Zelda Breath of the Wild. I was like, I don't remember that game. I don't remember that coming out on Switch. Did Mass Effect Andromeda come out on the Switch? And the Zelda affected the sales? Like, I don't remember that happening. So
I asked somebody from the studio, I'm like, what the hell was going on, y'all? And they're like, well, Mass Effect Montreal did it, or BioWare Montreal did it. And they're like, they had 5 years to develop it, and they scrapped everything. And then the last year was what they developed to the game. And I'm like, you mean this game was made in a year? They're like, yeah, we pretty much just used everything we had left. We used all the assets for Mass Effect 3.
I'm gonna go against the grain here. I'm gonna say because I didn't buy it at launch. I don't think the game's that bad. I mean, I'm at the end. It's not. I think it's a good game. It's just not a good Mass Effect game.
Exactly. That's where I
wouldn't even go that far. And I absolutely love Mass Effect. It's a bad Mass Effect game.
When you hold it to like the likes of like the original trilogy, like that's kind of like how I feel about like the Halo trilogy. Like I look at Halo 4 and Halo 5. It's like Of course, Halo 4 isn't even a good game, period. So
I'm gonna disagree with you, sir.
I have to disagree with you on that one.
all right. You know what?
We can talk about this all day, bro.
Yeah, Halo 4 is one of my favorites.
We'll be talking about this after the damn podcast.
But I agree with Kev. It's not a good Mass Effect game. It's not a great BioWare game, but it's not a bad game.
Right.
Well, post many patches, like if you bought it day one,
man,
I bought it day
I'll tell you
one.
one thing.
The
The memes were worth it, though. Oh man, the memes will forever live on.
Do you know how hard it was for me not to damage control that game?
I think it looks fine. I don't see what's wrong.
Yeah. I was playing with my friend. He's like, "What the hell is this?" I'm like, "Shh, no, shh, it gets better. Hold on." Oh, I'm sorry, I lied.
Yeah. There's some great videos that came out of it.
At least it's a fun game. Andromeda is fun as hell.
You know what I'll say though. Even like the gameplay. I think the gameplay was fun, but I can't really like relate to any of those characters. Like I like PB. PB is definitely my favorite character.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But I look at PB as like the best character in Andromeda, but I was like, you don't even compare to the worst character in the original trilogy. Like I still, even the worst character,
wow,
I still like.
PB's better than Caden because I'm not ready to say that PB's better than Caden.
Everybody
died for me, so I mean.
Well done, sir. Well done. You made the right choice.
You think I chose Caden? What?
Oh, Caden dies at everyone.
I was like, no, you stay here. We'll be back for you.
See, that's the good thing about Mass Effect is I couldn't relate to any character except for like Vetra. I really loved Vetra, but in every single other Mass Effect game, I'm like, I still cry about Mordin. I'm like, oh my god, I can relate to all the characters. If you want me to cry, put on Mordin's theme.
Massive Tally fans.
Yeah.
I love Tally.
But I'm also a Liara chick, so.
Yeah, I love Liara.
Okay.
Liara's great, and Jack.
Once I found out Liara was.
Hold on, I'm not hearing any Rex love in here. What's wrong with this panel?
Oh no, Rex, bro. Rex was, yeah. Rex was my dude.
Rex is cool, but I like Grunt.
Garrus, hello.
Garrus?
Oh man, is this a Mass Effect podcast now?
Right, this is slander. I heard no Rex or Garrus until I brought him up.
Where's my boy Fan
You
Man?
didn't hear about Garrus.
Oh, we could go all day, but we're trying to keep it short on the Mass Effect because, like, we could talk about Miranda's ass, we could talk about Miranda's boobs, we could talk about all that, and I'm like, let's not.
This is another podcast in general.
I ain't gonna lie, I chose Jack over Miranda. Something about tattoos, just
Now, really quick, I don't want people to think that I got Captain Spirit in the title. We're not talking about Captain Spirit. So what happened was Demi. This was his time to shine, right? If you guys ever watched the Writer's Block podcast, we had what was called Demi's Corner. But since Demi's not here, we can't really talk about Captain Spirit unless anyone else on the panel has played Captain Spirit.
No.
We talk about.
I still gotta get through. I gotta still get through before the story. I gotta put myself through all that shit again.
You gonna cry?
I choked up a little bit on the first Life is Strange, and I really did.
Like I was telling y'all before we started the show, I was playing Last of Us. The first 12 minutes when she dies, I was like, "Oh god!" No. I was like, "I can't do this."
Oh, dude,
Life is Strange hit me, but I think the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead hit me more.
Hey man, that Last of Us scene, that first Last of Us scene. God dang, me and my wife, like I'm playing it, and he's sitting there holding his daughter. I was like, I'm doing ugly cry, bro. I'm like, oh my God.
My dad came in and I was crying, and he's like, because I don't cry, and he's like, "What? Are you okay? Somebody died?" I was like, "The video game girl died." He's like, "Oh my God." He's like, "Please stop. You're making me weirded out by this." She died.
From what I'm hearing, Captain Spirit is pretty dope, and it's supposed to the decisions you make lead on to the next life. Life is Strange.
Yeah, it's like it's set in the same universe, and it has like certain connected choices that Life is Strange too.
Because I got Life is Strange, the first one plus Beyond the Storm. I got the first one for free for somebody gifted it to me. The second one, when it first came out, there was a glitch on Amazon. I ended up getting it for like $1. Yet to start.
Damn.
I played the first episode of the second one. I can't get into it.
Yeah, me either, bro.
It it grows on you. Like you said, like, oh, I'm playing as this little girl. It definitely grows on you though.
Yeah. Well, see, I like playing as Chloe. I just don't, or not as Chloe, as
Max.
over on the first season. Max. Yeah. I just didn't like playing as Chloe. Like Chloe's just not interesting enough. She's great as a sidekick. But
I can understand why people like it. I mean, especially with the story-driven basis of it. But I just, it's not for me, bro.
I used to feel that way about story-driven games. It's like I can't sit there and just press buttons. Yeah. Then I played The Walking Dead season 1. I've been a fan ever since.
Yeah.
You know, when Old Boy died in the first one, I was like, my feelings. Like, I was hurt.
Are you talking about in The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Why the black man always got to die?
Bro, I was hurt.
And when anybody ever plays that ending song to play when he was giving his final goodbyes, man, I ball up like a little fucking baby. I ain't gonna lie. That song, I will never forget that song, man. And see, I played season 1 and season 2 back to back. When I was done with that, I didn't want to play shit for a couple of days. I just like, I don't even feel like gaming. I just,
I'm not a big Xbox guy, but I think that kind of sits right up there with the Dom scene in Gears of War 3.
Bro, the Dom scene, bro, that hurt.
Oh my god, bro, that hurt so bad. Oh my god, they cut on that Mad World song. Oh,
bro, yeah.
Like, oh, that's like they have a new character that kind of looks like Dom with shades on. I don't know if y'all seen it.
Yeah,
the new character they're announcing in Gears 5. He looks like
was it like Australian dude or something like that?
Yeah,
he looked dark skinned,
something like that.
When I first saw him, I
like, guess what, guys?
Like,
Dom is back. I'm like,
that's what I thought. I was like, wait.
Like Microsoft is like,
the universe.
Look, bro,
he wore his seatbelt. Buckle up, children. What?
Yo, shout out to the chat, man. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. And yeah, Chief, we did PUBG. They did drop that lawsuit against Epic, so maybe they realized that it was
that's so crazy, bro.
That was stupid
to sue somebody for a game job.
You know what? I just want to be one of the lawyers on that team because you know they got paid anyway.
Facts.
Yeah, I think it's more or less the fact that I think they just knew. They're like,
how you gonna sue somebody that makes the engine that your games explain?
Exactly. Yeah, I think it was more or less they were like, we're not gonna win this shit.
How the hell did they?
That was the envious, like, bad look. It was like you're mad because they took pretty much what you kind of started and just blew it up astronomically, and you just salty. Like, that's just
whatever happened to the term "get good."
First of all, get good at like putting out a good product, because
exactly.
that game still runs like ass on Xbox, man. God man,
right? That makes no sense.
That's a damn shame too.
Yeah, it is. But you know, with like. It's a weird situation, bro. It's like with H1Z1. Wasn't H1Z1 like partially developed by Players Unknown? I'm pretty sure it was. So like
he was on that dev team. They had some beef, and then he went and made PUBG.
Yeah, so like H1Z1 is on PlayStation, and I don't think it's on Xbox right now, is it?
No, it's supposed to be.
It's
though.
Like PC.
It's already dead on PlayStation, apparently. So.
Yeah,
folks was hyping the hell out of it when it came out. Oh, R.I.P. PUBG.
Yeah, PUBG killer. Look, I don't care. I don't care how dead PUBG people say PUBG is. It will never be H1Z1 dead. That's a fact.
Yeah,
I just know PUBG is the #1 played game on Steam still.
Yes, yeah.
Can't be that dead.
I'm sorry,
but you know, I just look at. I mean.
Trash.
You just think of, but you think about it like this with Fortnite in that aspect. Yeah, I think PUBG, me particularly, I gravitate to PUBG more because it's more of a realistic style shooter. But I can understand why Fortnite is as big as it is. I mean, first and foremost, it's not just the fact of it being a non-bloody, less violent style game. It's cartoony. It's a little bit more for parents, a little bit easier for parents to let their kids play.
Yeah.
And secondly, it's got a huge, huge celebrity basis around it now. One of the biggest people that is making money for this freaking game is Ninja. He is like one of the biggest driving forces.
Ninja's fraudulent, bro. He's made so many tweets about don't be toxic, be nice to everybody. In some of his videos, he's just talking bad to kids. That dude out on the train, he's fraudulent as hell.
But you know, I mean, at the same time, you know, that dude. What's crazy is that by the end of this physical year, it's been estimated that Ninja is going to pull a total of like $6.8 million just from his subscriber base.
Until he says the N-word on stream, and then people start to
yeah. But you know, he's doing all this stuff now too. He's doing this stuff now too with like Marshmello, and Marshmello and him have a Marshmello gaming channel. I guess Marshmello is doing the main amount of it, but Ninja's kind of like popping in and out, and all these. The biggest thing is the fact that Epic is in the green on all of this, bro. I mean, they're getting all these celebrities.
But wait, I thought everybody hated gas. I thought gas was bad, but Fortnite was the biggest game on earth. They made $300 million just recently, but everyone hates gas. Gas is so bad.
Yeah. Games as a service is fine, and this is actually I wanted to touch on the biggest reason why this game is popping. It's because it's free.
It's free.
Yeah. People don't want to buy a game for $60. Then buy a $60 season pass. Then buy microtransactions. COD.
You should probably just say games as a service. When you say gas, people think a whole different thing.
So like, my bad. Gas
is terrible.
Here's the thing.
I was completely lost on that one.
You said game. My bad. Games as a service. You said gamers don't want to spend $60 on a game, then $60 on DLC. That's $120, but they're turning around and spend $400 on V-Bucks to get an animated that can work. And Dougie,
I don't play these games.
You don't get them up
microtransactions. I cannot be held responsible for people that are bad with their money.
Yep.
Yeah. Like it's like dope dealing. It's like you don't get the money up front. You get it on the comeback. Like that's where you get your money from. You know.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I spent a lot of money on microtransactions.
Throw it out there,
I want to say on the podcast.
Give it to them for free and make them come back. That's what Fortnite does.
See, you know, whenever microtransactions first kind of started popping up, like one of the games, I don't even know why, bro. I don't know why, but one of the games that I spent a ton of money on that at the time I was like, this isn't a microtransaction, was Little Big Planet. I bought every freaking costume pack for that game. I don't know why. Anytime something came out for it, I paid for it, and almost every time those things were like $4.99 a piece. So I was paying. I ended up at the end by like Little Big Planet 2. I got halfway through their season. I'm like, I can't do this shit no more, bro. This is too much.
I don't.
You know, I have to agree with all of y'all too. Is the fact that you know it's just changing, bro. It's changing. The games industry as a whole is changing. It is, yeah, bro. It totally is. And a lot of these kids out there now, you know, they kind of. None of this stuff helps you in game, like none of it does. So I don't really understand why you would spend that much money on this.
It looks cool. Like, people don't like to have the generic character they have every time. They want to do something. They want to look different. They want to be memorable looking.
Yeah.
We went from using Master Chief and Call of Duty from killing somebody to teabagging them to killing somebody and twerking on them.
Riding around in a shopping cart. You know.
It's crazy.
I would say I like these skins because it makes it easier to see these scrubs.
Yep.
So I can blast their ass because they got all neon pink tights.
Yeah.
Look, it's Thanos. I think we should kill him.
Exactly.
It's bigger than games too, because like again, I teach. And all the kids, they do these dances.
Yeah.
They do all these dances. They know them. Like, they do the
That's
floss
and
all this stuff.
game.
You're
starting to see some of those moves in like music videos and shit too. Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
But you know, that's where Epic is sitting at on that really high hill or mountain that they're sitting on and just smiling, bro. They're like, you know, we've created a phenomenon, and that's what they're doing, bro. I mean, you see it.
I hate that damn game though.
I know, bro. I know, man. I swear.
I don't hate it. I just don't get it. Like, I've played a lot of it. Like I said, my kids talk me into playing it. And I just can't get into it. Like I play it, but I'm just like going with the motions. I'm playing.
You know, a lot of people got better skill at building bases than they do actually shooting.
Bro,
like,
yes.
Building
yes.
bases is ridiculous.
Thank you so much for saying that, bro. Because I was playing it the other night. I got down to the point of having like 10 people on the map, and the only reason I lost is because the dude somehow built a skyscraper in like 15 seconds. I'm like, bro,
yeah, that's what it is. That's what I call it. It's called Lego BR. That's exactly what it is, man. Just build the blocks.
It was
crazy.
What do you expect?
I told my friend, he's like, why don't you ever give this game a chance again? I was like, look, man, it's a battle royale. If they took the building out of this game, I probably would play it because it's constantly supported. But I'm not with that building shit. It's build first, shoot later. I'm a shooter. Yeah. So how about this? You build, I'll shoot, and we'll just see how far we can.
I'm running around trying to build, and I'm getting shot.
That's why a lot of people, play more on duos than they do on single because I have a friend of mine that plays on duos and he wins all the time because his friend knows how to build better than he does. But I can't ever find anybody that is that good to do something like that. The times I've done it, I get my ass kicked. So
hey, if I can find me a builder, I play on PC. I got a mouse. We can do crossplay. I just need a good builder.
I'm the type of dude that died in a storm, and like the kids at school will never let me live that down. It's like every day, oh, you died in the storm.
I'd be like, look, you little shit. I did.
Or when you join your friend's game, you're the only dude with the default. Look at this freaking guy. Look at him. Nothing. Like, yeah, I don't play this game. Everyone's got their glowing neon tights and
right.
I'm like, hey,
super shoes, and I'm just like, yeah.
I may suck at one night, but I will beat you the fuck up, little kid. You better get out of my face.
Right.
It's like when I first started playing Overwatch, all my friends were silver, and I came in as a level 2, and I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. We're going into ranked matches, and I'm like, you guys suck.
Yo, so I do want to move on to the one of our last topics. If you guys can see on the chat screen today, I do have 2B. Nier Automata, which finally released on the Xbox One, which is weird because the first Nier was on Xbox 360. But Nier Automata finally released on Xbox One, and it seems like Xbox is finally starting to get that Japanese support. And a lot of people predict this game will never hit on Xbox because of Scalebound, rest in peace. But it seems as if
let's just take like a good minute on the podcast of silence for that game, all right?
No.
It seems as if Xbox maybe beginning to get more of the Japanese support. Phil went over there and he bowed down and he realized he needed the support because a lot of these games that were exclusive on PlayStation were exclusive on PlayStation wasn't because of a deal, it was because PlayStation was just that big in Japan and they didn't like Xbox. We know Sega, even though we haven't seen why.
Sir, this was not an exclusive, sir.
It's not.
This game was never exclusive.
No, it wasn't.
Not exclusive.
No. But I want to know from the panel. You guys think that this is the beginning of us seeing more Japanese games? Because the 360, the 360 had a lot of Japanese support.
Did one of the biggest 360 games that was a JRPG was Lost Odyssey.
Lost Odyssey, yep.
That was great.
And that was a huge game. But I agree. But it's just. Xbox is in a really weird place right now in Japan too, as they are in the global, market right now. I mean, with Sony,
you got their own hole for that though.
Yeah, with Sony selling, I know it always goes back to this. It's hard not to let it go back to that. But Sony sold a total of 76 million or 78 million consoles, and Xbox has sold like 28 million. So that's a really huge gap. And I think they're starting to go the way they're supposed to. From that Xbox E3 show, the games that they announced, the exclusives, the five.
For sure.
Oh, bro! Hey, dude! While I was sitting in the Xbox theater, and that name popped up and said Ninja Theory. I was like, bullshit! You got to be kidding me!
That's cool.
Yeah,
bro. I was so salty. I was like, I kind of like looked down at my phone. My coworker Eric was like, bro, what's wrong with you? I was like. They bought Ninja Theory, bro. I was waiting for Heavenly Soul 2 or Heavenly Blade 2.
I do think they need to. It would be a good on them if they wanted to open up a Japanese studio.
Yeah,
I think that would help a lot. But I do think like the Yakuza games are now on PC. I think eventually those are going to come to Xbox. I do think this is the beginning, of them.
You know what I would like to see instead of all these games coming to the console, but. Let's not do a Rise of Tomb Raider and hold it hostage for a year and then release it on the other consoles. Like, bring it together. Maybe bring it out.
I hate timed exclusive games. I really do.
I hate timed exclusive everything. Like, it's retarded. Like look at Destiny, the original one, where did the Xbox guys have all of the Dick and King content yet?
I think they got it just before Destiny 2 released.
Yep, before the last DLC came out for the first Destiny. It was bad.
Yeah, it was like this is some bullshit, and it was bullshit last generation when Xbox had all the exclusivity too. Yeah. I'm like, it's a multi-platform game, and I'm very much so against borders. But let's make everything cross-play. Let's stop with the exclusive DLC. Yes. I get you're gonna have your exclusive games, but do we need third-party exclusive games?
But one thing about these Japanese games that are exclusive to PlayStation, a lot of them there aren't like money deals in place. They're just only released on PlayStation. So Microsoft can actually get in.
There's a lot of games like that this generation too. There's a ton of games like that this generation where, and Sony's pushing them off their exclusives. No, these games are on PC. These games might even be on the Switch. They're just not on Xbox.
Yeah, I was going to say that's starting to change with the Switch because the Switch is actually catching the install base of PlayStation in Japan. So you're starting to see a lot more. There's a lot of RPGs that we never saw on Nintendo consoles since like Super Nintendo. Up until,
is this because Xbox doesn't sell well in Japan?
Yeah, I think that's why they sell like 33 units a week.
I think Xbox has sold maybe 100 Xboxes this year in Japan.
In general sell bad in Japan. It's just Xbox is the worst of it.
They actually had a bump last month this past month because of E3, I guess, because they jumped from their regular like 78 consoles a month to like 780. They had like a huge jump. That's a huge jump for them. That's kind of sad. But
yes! one of the reasons could be, and I know it's not like a JRPG, but it could be the Kingdom Hearts.
I was going to say they were the first to show Kingdom Hearts 3. That was huge. Like that was.
But you know my thing about the King. Right. Yeah, here's my thing. So not only did they not, well, they haven't announced it yet. They probably won't. The collective, like 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8, whatever, aren't on Xbox. But even at the conference, we saw more new Kingdom Hearts footage on Sony's conference than we saw. We saw the same trailer at the Xbox conferences we saw before E3. We actually saw the whole Pirates of the Caribbean reveal at Sony's conference.
Yeah.
And they announced the PS Pro Kingdom Hearts. So that's going to sell like crazy because people have been waiting for Kingdom Hearts forever. So
they know where that game's going to sell. It's not going to sell on Xbox the way it's going to sell on PlayStation. I mean,
it really isn't.
Comparatively, no, but I do think it will sell.
It will sell. It will
definitely sell more if they release 1.5 and 2.5. It makes no sense why they release that on Xbox.
Yeah.
Well, isn't there? I think there's a. I think there's a pre-order. I think there's a pre-order bundle with the games to where you can get 2.5. No, that's
only on PlayStation.
Only on PlayStation. Yeah. They said it was a PlayStation. That bundle was a PlayStation exclusive to get all 3 games.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, we're going to get PlayStation exclusive air.
Yeah.
I do admire that they're bringing was it Tales of Vesperia to the new console? So like
the Tales games were on 360. It's like I thought it was weird that they.
I don't know, bro. It's a weird situation. It's a weird situation. It's just like the whole situation with freaking the Final Fantasy VII. We're never gonna see that fucking game.
That game comes out in 2030, sir. Let's be honest.
2078. We will be gone.
I heard it launches the same day as Crackdown does.
Oh shit!
Oh, shots fired.
God dang.
It may take as long as it took to get Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, exactly.
I bought 15. I still haven't popped that joint in. It's just sitting there.
Oh my god.
Bro, I'm sitting on the Steam page, looking at it like this motherfucker on sale for $20. Do I get it? Do I get it? Nah. I
bought Final Fantasy 15, and then when they re-released Final Fantasy 9, I bought Final Fantasy 9, and I've played that before I played 15 because 9 is my favorite Final Fantasy, and I prefer turn-based RPGs.
That game doesn't respect my hard drive space. That's my only problem.
Yeah.
It's too big. It's so big. It's like over 100 gigs.
I played Final Fantasy 12 was my first one because I'm a little wee baby. What? And I played Final Fantasy 13.
And I was first one?
Yeah, I'm 25, 24.
All day.
Yeah, she's young. That's like, 1994 when you were born?
It's okay.
I'm 93. Yeah.
It's all good. The only one I played and put real time in is 7.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
I went back and played
7. You were my new friend.
I got a confession. I have not beaten one single Final Fantasy game.
Leave.
Oh my god.
Oh no! Wait a minute. First of all, I can't get into it. I'm sorry. I played like 20 minutes of 7. I was like, man, this game's trash.
Yo, we was talking about heartstrings earlier. Yo, Final Fantasy 10, that ending, I was like, bro, like that got me. And then Final Fantasy 9 ended when you thought. Spoiler, I don't care, spoiler alert, whatever, man. You should play it by now.
The game's 20 years old.
You thought Vivi was dead. I was like, yo, like, how you gonna kill out Vivi? Like, bro.
Yeah.
I love going back to the old games because I downloaded an emulator and I'm playing a whole bunch of old shit. And I'm like, in my childhood, I was like, these games were fucking awesome. They look good. And I went back and played Final Fantasy VII. I was like, oh, you're fucking hard to look at.
It didn't hold up, that's for sure.
It's like, was I this dumb as a child? Just like, oh.
Pre-rendered background stuff.
It's so crazy when you go back and you play some of those games. It's like I have an arcade that's got about 40,000 games on it. And I'll scroll down through some of the Nintendo games or Sega games. I'm like, yeah, let's play this. Well, first, it's already hard enough to play it on an arcade pad, but secondly, bro, like looking at some of these graphics, bro, I'm like, God damn.
The only games that hold up are like 8-bit, 16-bit, you know.
Yeah, how can you say that? Come on, go back and play
in the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2.
Yeah, when you get the 32-bit, 64-bit, no, I don't know about that.
You gotta go back and play the original Tomb Raider and look at Laura's polygonal boobs. Like that, it holds up.
Oh, she got the pointy tits, right? Oh, Lord.
That was one of my favorite generations. I still play my N64 like it came out yesterday. So
I mean,
and the PS1. So
I love me some Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Her arms are fantastic, but polygonal Laura titties just like boom. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I was frothing back then.
Hit me in the chest. Final Fantasy Zero, the game was trash. Final Fantasy Zero is
Of course,
trash.
we were little playing that shit because, man, them titties look real as shit.
Like, shit.
That's because you hadn't seen titties before that, bro.
Look at those shorts.
Hey, man.
And then Dead or Alive came out, and I'm like, God, screw Laura.
yo, my man Jay got a point in the chat. The only JRPGs I like is Kingdom Hearts and Pokemon. Pokemon is the greatest RPG of all time.
I love Pokemon.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't really fuck with turn-based RPGs like that. Like you really gotta loop me in. I fuck with Pokemon. I fuck with Persona.
That's the thing
about
Final Fantasy VII. They got a lot of people who didn't really play because they saw all those cutscenes, those FMVs on the commercial. They're like, "Oh, that game looks amazing," and they got this is a turn-based RPG.
Yeah. No, I gotta actually disagree. I gotta disagree with the chat, man. The best RPG of all time was Mario RPG, bro. Super Mario RPG was the best.
That was great. I love it.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the best RPG of all time and not one of the best.
Yeah, true.
My favorite RPG of all time is still the first Mass Effect.
Oh yeah,
we're not going to go back into this infinite loop of Mass Effect.
Fallout New Vegas for the win.
I gotta give it to Kev. The first BioWare games I played were both Dragon Age 2 and Mass Effect 2, and I was like, what have I been doing with my life? Like, have I been under a rock?
Yeah, Mass Effect.
I'm actually relatively new to the Mass Effect. Well, let's see. Last gen, I played through Mass Effect 2 just by itself, and then I played through the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. It wasn't until this gen, when backwards compatibility came out, that I played through 1, 2, and 3 back to back, and that's
one is
the way to play it. That's the way to play Mass
One
Effect.
Now is kind of a labor of love. I think we.
Yeah,
I will say this. One had the gameplay was so bad. Oh my god, that running animation.
It's tough to go back to.
Shooting everything, but the story it told and the RPG mechanics in that game,
my god,
so good. So good.
Mass Effect 2 is the masterpiece. Mass Effect 3, I played it.
Yeah, I would think that Mass Effect 2 is like the love child of 1 and 3.
What's funny? Mass Effect 3 is up until you get to that last conversation with the elusive man.
Yeah.
My favorite of the trilogy.
I was so salty. Oh my god. I was like, I hate this shit.
I think I was the only person that wasn't. I would like at
I wasn't salty.
The game was done. I have a friend of mine that does the Second Opinion podcast with us, and he is a Mass Effect freak, bro. Like he's played Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 so many times I can't count. And I remember after he beat it, he called me. It was like, I'm so fucking pissed off right now, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, why, man? He's like, that ended a Mass Effect. I'm like, I thought it was good. He's like, bye. And he like hung up on me.
It just felt like everything we did for so many years was just gone. It's like,
but I'll tell you what though. I bet you were hooked like a motherfucker. I took the week off and beat Mass Effect 3 in 2 days.
I skipped school for that shit. I was like,
That ending reminded me of like you do like a really epic adventure. It's like, oh, it was all a dream. Bitch, what?
You know what that ending was like? That ending was like the Shadow of Mordor.
No, I agree with that. I think the ending.
Shadow of Mordor is a terrible ending.
I think if anything, it reminded me of the best one that I could compare it to is probably Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh, we don't even talk about that game. That game don't exist.
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Still to this
Connor
day.
was the most lifeless fucking person ever.
It was horrible. And then at the end, when Desmond grabbed that apple and he's like, okay, well, we're going to go do whatever. I'm like, Desmond's dead? What?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I was so mad. I actually felt like such an asshole. We played Odyssey at the event at an appointment, and some of the dev team was there, and I like brought that up to them. I was like, bro, when y'all killed off Desmond, I was salty as shit. I was really pissed off. But, you know, I just now got back into Assassins, and that actually kind of adds into what we were just talking about, is Odyssey is kind of taking some of that Mass Effect RPG, like, you know, storytelling into Odyssey, because it's going to have that choice-based gameplay. Depending on what you choose, the
very
gameplay will
interested in
change.
that.
So that's a pretty big change to the series. But anyways, I know we're getting off
good.
topic.
I just hope it's good.
Odyssey?
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be good, bro. I know the small amount of time that I played it, we played the ship battle. I got to explore the island a little bit, and then we played the massive battle that had like 40 guys on a beach at one time, and it was phenomenal. I mean, it was really
does the combat play like Origins, where like you can get like the variety of the weapons and kind of fight how you want to fight?
You can do the same exact thing, but instead of it being that aspect of like instead of it being kind of a parry system, it's kind of based more on like, you know, you dodge and then you can do different.
Oh, more like Bloodborne.
Like Dark Souls.
Yeah. Kind of more like Bloodborne or Dark Souls, because you instead of just doing a parry aspect of like, oh well, you have to block here, you have to block there, you can actually do new attacks where you like drop the spear down and it like throws your characters back or your enemies back and do all this different special stuff. So I think it's going to be great, bro. I mean, I was kind of shocked by Odyssey or by Origins. I didn't expect it to be as good as it did, and I waited until probably a couple months.
I didn't get into Assassin's Creed until Black Flag.
Yeah.
So far, Origins is my favorite one.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I can't get into Origins. I really can't.
I
thought I would. I love Egypt. And I love like the Rome one. They're Greek. Well, I can't remember. It's Greek, I believe, that they're going for the next one. I do not like being forced to do the side missions in order to continue on with the story. That's what I don't like. I don't like if I'm going after the story and then it's like, oh, you got to do these to level up, so you're high enough level to do this mission. Yeah. That's just not Assassin's Creed.
Well, it's kind of like a more of a mixture with this one too, because you can. The best thing that I could say, and I'm sure I'm sure Fame wants to move on after this, but the best thing I could say in that aspect about this one is that you could literally go from being on land to getting into a massive ship, having a ship battle, kind of a mixture of like this Assassin's Creed Skull and Bones aspect, and then you go and you can take over certain areas that are ruled by other people and have a huge battle that has like 40 to 50 people on a beach at one time, and you can go through every one of them and fight each one of those enemies. It was a really dynamic gameplay, so I think it's going to be hot, dude. I think it's going to be a really good game.
I'm excited.
You know, one thing I want to say, one thing we talked about tonight a lot was about feelings, right? And I will say I am currently in my feels, because it's crazy how I can get a panel of people who've never spoken before and to have this much chemistry and laugh and talk about games like this. Like, this is the beauty of gaming, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Right.
Like, me and Halo, you know, from different Facebook groups, me and Kev go way back. The video gamer put Mizza on with me earlier. I met Solev a couple of years ago. The Floor Hugger was brought on to me by Mike, and just like, yo, I put this panel together today, and it's like, it was, everyone like fed off each other, which was like super dope, and I'm in my feelings now, so. Hella dope. Shout out
get
to
over
you
it.
guys,
That's what you get when you have true passionate
over
gamers,
it, bro.
who actually care about games.
Oh my God. You know, that's like one of the things. That's one of the things that I've always talked about. I've been somewhat kind of in a weird spot in the industry, but I've been doing this for probably about 14 years, and it's, you know, especially when you start your own brand and you push your own brand, you do all this other stuff. You know, I've worked for a multitude of sites, and almost every time whatever site I've been through or whatever project I've been on, I've always said, you know, smaller sites, smaller people, whatever, we need to stick together. We need to cross-platform. We need to cross-promote, not cross-platform. Shit, Nintendo's still on my mind.
They got you.
God dang.
But you know, that's for the win.
Come on, Sony. Come on, Sony.
That's one of the big things about it, and that's one of the big things that me and Fame, talked about. Of, at that time, I don't even remember what I was doing. I think I was going to an appointment at QuakeCon, and I ran into him. And we talked for a little bit, and one of the biggest things that I had at that time was like, this dude's got the same ideology that I've always had of trying to, you got to meet people, you got to mingle, and you have to be social to other people, So, if anybody's listening right now and you got your own little small project, hit my boy Fame up. He'll help you out.
Yes, indeed.
I want to see what we're talking about that too.
See, a lot of people they think there's YouTubers that have some of the best insight, but realistically, a lot of YouTubers might do this for the wrong reasons. Some people, some YouTubers, I ain't gonna name names, do more podcasts than they actually do play games. So they got about 5 or 6 podcasts a week going for about 3 hours apiece. I'm like, when the hell do you get time? As being a father or somebody who works or something like that, I was like, what the hell do you find the time to talk about all these games, but you ain't got time to play none of them?
Yeah,
I'm just saying we questioning their fatherhood.
Right now, my daughter.
I was like, one of your tasks is slacking. So if you're playing the games, you're doing the podcast, you're a terrible damn father. You ain't sleeping. Something's missing.
I feel bad about keep bringing this stuff up, but it's like with me, over the years, I've done different websites, I've done different stuff. I've worked for games as a brand ambassador. I've done stuff in the industry, whatever, but I've always tried to keep my sights on what I wanted to do with Second Opinion. Second Opinion, when we first launched it, it was our slogan was taking over the globe one podcast at a time. So we had 5 different podcasts featured on our website. We had a big crew, and things just, happened the way they happened. People got busy, people got kids, it was all kinds of stuff. But, as it went on, it's like now, just a couple of weeks ago, I got back from E3. I was still doing Second Opinion. I'd started working on Cinelinx in February. And, I had a really bad situation happen with a malware attack on my website. And it kind of put me in a weird situation of what am I going to do now? Because I've put all this love and time into Second Opinion. I've written 1,500 articles in just the last few years on my website. I've done all this stuff. What do I do? So I've moved into a situation of doing my YouTube stuff and my podcasting strictly on Cinelinx, But what's great about Cinelinx is that I met them years ago, and I mean they met me with open arms. They hit me up just this past April, and they were like, "Hey man, you've been doing really good work for us. We want to send you to E3 this year." And when that's where this basis starts of you meeting these people, meeting you guys. I hope to God, we're able to meet up somewhere and do a live podcast or something like that at one of these events, because that's what it's all about is meeting people, the social aspect and kind of growing that gamer family that you already have. So anyways, y'all go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was in the fields right there, bro.
It was like
he was preaching. No, preach on, brother, man. Preach on.
You're trying to make me cry.
Hallelujah.
I've been going back and forth with the floor.
He tried to mingle.
She was like, I'm a little weird. I was like, weird is good. I like weird games. That's the best.
Yeah.
We all weird, man. So
I know I'm weird.
But we are gonna wrap up and get on up out of here. I'm gonna start with these. We're gonna do some outros. I'm gonna start from left and right from what's on my screen. So Lev, man, remind people where they can find you at, and give your spiel, my guy.
All right, man. So I've been it's been a weird situation, but you can find me on Twitter at S0LEB. You find Second Opinion on Twitter at Second Opinion Pro. Or you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/The Second Opinion Podcast. We do our podcasts and YouTube videos and stuff strictly on our podcast on YouTube, but we also do it on Cinelinx.com. So make sure to check us out over there. We do a weekly podcast. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, all the big stuff. We're still waiting on a Spotify approval right now. So damn, Spotify is all crazy and stuff. But, I'm down for anything, guys. Like, y'all want to play games, y'all want to do podcasting, want to do videos, whatever. You know, Fame knows that. I'm totally down for doing cross-promotional stuff. So anybody out there, anybody on the podcast now, if y'all ever want to just sit down and talk about gaming, hit me up, man.
That's what's up. Make sure you guys check my man out. Halo to the King. Besides Bang Bang, where can people find you, bro? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
He gone. Halo.
Oh, are you talking to me? Shit, I'm sorry.
You got his
All I
name.
heard was something bang bang. I was like, what the hell's bang bang?
No, I said besides Bang Bang, where can
I caught the end of it, man. I'm about to get up out the door.
They let people at Bang Bang.
You
They
can find me in
still
the
won't let
Facebook
Bang
groups
Bang.
talking shit. Let's see. You can find me on Twitter at Halo to the King, Xbox Live, also Halo to the King, or you can find me on PlayStation Network at The Amazing Napkin.
All right, Kevin, he did come in late, but my man, I charge Banshees. Miss Kevin,
Yes.
your girl loves Kev. Where can they find you, bro?
Oh yeah, you can find me, of course, on Twitter. I charge Banshees. You can find me on YouTube.
Okay.
I charge Banshees. It's a play on Mass Effect. If you play Mass Effect, you got in the.
I was thinking Halo, but all right.
Nah, it's the Vanguard charging Banshees, bro. So you catch me there, and then you can catch me on YouTube also at Kevin7. I talk about games. I try to keep fanboys. I try not to get fanboys in their feelings too much, but sometimes it's fun.
That's too much fun.
Yeah, it's fun getting them in their feelings, especially when you make them backpedal.
And one of my new favorite channels going forward, Mr. T.
Hey there, fools. Thank you for having me on this evening. Yeah. I definitely embrace my weird on my channel. So obviously I use this voice once in a while. I actually just revealed myself after like 4 years on YouTube. Because before that I was using like a Mr. T doll and I do a voice and stuff. So all my gaming videos were behind that. And then I like incorporated like a Mr. T puppet that I pretty much put together myself. And so, but now I'm on camera a little bit more so too. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on. Thanks. Shout out to Nia, because I wouldn't be on without her linking me in the Twitter. So very cool. And yeah, like it was, like you said, we all gel like that. I'd never talked to any one of you guys before tonight, but I could tell you all like passionate gamers. So that's all that matters. So, yeah, but yeah, definitely check me out, Mr. T. It's MIZZAH and space TEE. I think it's underscore if you go on Twitter, but yeah, I've been around a little bit, and I got a cool little fan base, so come check me out.
Nice. And last but not least, someone I'm hoping you guys will see a lot more of going forward. Wink, wink. The floor of it.
I hope I'm on more too. You guys can find me on what is it? Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. What's that other one? Twitch. You can also get me on Snapchat, but Snapchat you'll probably get snaps of food, so you can add me there. I never met a group of people that I've meshed well with so quickly, and it's kind of nice. We're all mature gamers. We all appreciate people's opinion, and I'm looking forward to be on here more.
Yeah. Can we get a hashtag for Polygon Titties?
Polygon Titties. Hashtag Polygon Titties.
There we go. We got it.
If you guys, as you can see, not everyone is actually on the top part of this little overlay, but I did put the Google Hangouts overlay thing in there. But for the people I don't have on there, if you guys look in the description, their Twitter and their channels are right there. We had some changes happen at the last second. I ran out of time fitting everybody inside the boxes. I got frustrated. So I do apologize about that. But I do want to say, once again, you guys have leveled up to 55. This was the Double XP Podcast. Once again, if you're watching live, thank you so much. If you're watching on Tick Games Network, much appreciated. If you're listening to on iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, and you're listening to the edited clean version, tonight wasn't as bad. Bravo. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us once again. I would love to have everyone from this panel come on again and just group, and we just sit down and just talk about games, man, because this was great. This was hella insightful. Everyone has different backgrounds, different preferences, but at the end of the day, man, it's all love and it's all games, man. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Once again, get all your gaming news from TickGamesNetwork.com. And we out.